Welcome to the Juicebox Stage 3 Plug and Play Install Guide. To begin the install, turn off the ignition and open the hood. At this point, you will want to lock the doors and close the trunk. Wait 10 minutes for the ECU to go to sleep. If you have comfort access, place the keys inside the house to avoid waking up the ECU.
To begin the install, we will be removing the covers on the left and right of the car. Please pull the rubber tab down and use your fingers to snap each cover off. Place them out of the way. Next, we will be removing the right and left sensors. Remove the left sensor by pushing in a small clip and rotating. Pull the tabs by holding the wires out and grasping the tabs and pulling towards you. The sensors will stay connected to the wires. Just lay the sensors and wires towards the front engine out of the way. Now let's remove the HVAC air filter by removing the 6 8mm bolts holding down the filter. You can now pull the filter off and place it out of the way. Now we will remove the 2 8mm machine bolts that hold down the plastic cowl.
Remove the battery cable rail by using a flathead screwdriver to unlock the clips and pull forward.
Next, use a flathead screwdriver to release the cable bundle running right behind the power strip you just removed. Pull the cable forward while lifting up on the cowl to release it.
On the left side of the cowl, remove the hose connected to it. Also be sure to pull out the rubber tabs on the left and right side of the cowl.
Now the cowl should lift out of the engine bay. Place it on the ground out of the way. This is what it should look like when the cowl is removed. Now we can remove the ECU cover. It is held down by 2 sliding clips on the sides and a small plastic clip on the front and back.
Remove the large ECU connector by pulling out the slider as shown. Also remove the small ECU connector the same way. To remove the small ECU connector, remove the slider by pushing in on the retaining clips at the top. Once the large and small ECU connectors are removed, use a small flathead screwdriver to pull back the tabs which hold in the 4 subconnectors. Remove all 4 of these subconnectors. Once the 4 factory subconnectors are removed, insert the Juicebox Stage 3 subconnectors into the large and small connectors. Make sure to insert those subconnectors with the arrow going in. The black wires go into the large subconnector, while the red wires go into the smaller right subconnector. To reinstall the small ECU connector, reinstall the slider on the right smaller ECU connector. Center the connector over the ECU and push the slider in while pulling the connector down. Do not attempt to force the connector down, and do not reinstall the connector without the slider. As you push the slider in, the connector will seat itself when aligned properly. To reinstall the large subconnector, you may need to lift out the ECU a few inches for room. To do this, release the 2 tabs on the ECU housing case. Your connectors in the ECU should now look like this. Next, you will connect the male subconnector to the female BMW subconnectors we removed earlier. Make sure to verify that the rectangular boxes on both subconnectors line up. Once all the subconnectors have been attached, attach the JB4 control module to the large black connector and tighten finger tight using a small screwdriver. Slide the JB4 control box in the empty shelf next to the ECU. Using your hand, flatten down and fold over the subconnectors to make room for the ECU cover. After all of the sub-connectors are properly connected and the juice box stage 3 is in the ECU compartment, you may reinstall the ECU cover. Now that the ECU cover is on, start the engine to ensure the installation was completed properly. If the engine cranks without starting or shows a picture of a yellow engine after starting, refer to the troubleshooting guide in the written manual for additional assistance. Assuming all is well, reinstall the cowl, HVAC air filter, sensors, and cover.